Hello everybody and welcome to today's webinar on the Novok range of formalin control safety solutions. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. You may have joined the presentation listening using your computer speaker system by default. If at any time you would prefer to join over the telephone, just select phone call in the audio pane and the dial-in information will be displayed for you. We welcome your questions and you will have the opportunity to submit text questions to today's presenters by typing your questions into the questions pane, which you find at the bottom of your attendee control panel. You can send your questions in at any time during the presentation and we'll collect them and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. We do have some handouts available for you today to download during the live broadcast. And if you would like to download them, please just click on the handout section and click on the links. It's my pleasure to introduce your first speaker, Jamie Munro, who is the Sales Manager for Pentland Medical. Jamie, over to you.
Thanks, Jill, and thanks to everyone who's joined our webinar today. We were very happy with the high number of registrations we had, and also the number of attendees that are online today. So thank you all for your time, and I hope it's all worthwhile for you. I'll be the main presenter today, but thankfully we have technical support from Jill. Also joining me will be Barra, who is the product specialist from Aquamana in Italy. I'll shortly be handing over to Alicia for an introduction, but first a brief intro on myself and Pentland Medical. So I'm Jamie, I'm the sales manager for Pentland Medical. Pentland have been supplying a range of products to the UK healthcare market for over 20 years. Our products are always selected carefully to ensure that we're offering niche and unique solutions which make a genuine difference to patient and staff safety in the healthcare arena. So that's a very brief introduction on Pentland Medical. I'm now going to hand over to Alicia. So Alicia, if you could please introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi everyone, it is a true pleasure to be here and to be part of this webinar today. Thank you Jamie and thank you Jilly for the support and for introducing me to this brand new education method, at least for me. I was not familiar with this. This is great. I think this is a great opportunity to share information, doubts, thoughts, whatever you can think of. My name is Alice and my position in the company is that of education manager, product supervisor. This basically means I deal with the education of clients, end users when it is necessary. I have been working with Novok since 2018. The product was created to deal with a problem that, in my opinion, is often underestimated. And I have been able to see this myself by traveling and visiting hospitals all over the world. Usually I hold trainings and also give on-site education support for our customers, though I like to call them partners more than customers. But anyway, this is basically what I do, and I hope I can be of help today. Thank you, Jamie.
Okay. Thanks, Alicia. So today's webinar is all about the Novok range of formalin control and spillage solutions. In this webinar, we're going to show you how Novok can improve the safety of staff who are handling formalin on a regular basis. Novok is an Italian product and Pentland Medical launched it in the UK in 2019. After such a short time, we have numerous NHS trusts already ordering Novok products, such as Stockport NHS Foundation Trust, County Durham and Darlington NHS Foundation Trust, Princess Alexandra Hospital Trust, plus several private hospitals in the Nuffield, Spire and Ramsey groups. What has been clear from our initial work in the UK market is that there is a gap for a spillage and cleaning solution which deals specifically with formalin as quickly and effectively as Novok does. So just to quickly run through our agenda for today, I'll start by talking about the dangers of formaldehyde in the workplace before discussing the current spill solutions available. I'll then introduce the Novok range, talking about the individual components that make up the system, before running through the key advantages. We will have video demonstrations running throughout the webinar to prove the efficacy of Novok and demonstrate how it works. At the end, we are running a live Q&A session, so we would encourage you to submit your questions throughout the webinar, and we will do our best to answer them at the end. Also, just to mention, Gilly did mention at the start there, but we do have a couple of handouts available to download throughout the broadcast, including our product literature and also the efficacy test report for the Novok spill solution. Okay, so the International Agency for Research on Cancer reclassified formaldehyde as carcinogenic for human beings in January 2016. Formalin, which is an aqueous solution of formaldehyde, is currently the most widely used fixative in anatomical pathology, laboratory and embalming. As it is such a light and highly volatile molecule, formaldehyde has a tendency to evaporate very easily whenever a spillage or a leakage occurs. Acute exposure to formaldehyde may trigger many short-term harmful effects. Some examples of this are allergic reactions, difficulty breathing, asthma attacks, respiratory irritation, headaches, burning eyes, etc. Since this reclassification, facilities which deal with formalin have been forced to reconsider their health and safety policies as they try to reduce the risk of exposure to staff. A number of new products and solutions designed to minimise the risk of formaldehyde have been welcomed. But every day, the hospital and laboratory staff handle considerable amounts of formalin in their working activity. As a result of highly stressful and fast-paced workflow, accidental spillages of formalin occur more often than people think, and that requires a special attention, appropriate training, and a complete set of solutions to meet all kinds of safety needs. It's not enough to just be equipped with an emergency response kit for the management of big formalin spillages. Minor ones can occur on a daily basis, and these often go unreported. Ordinary cleanup procedures cannot completely remove the residual formalin. The surface will remain contaminated and will continue to release formaldehyde gas into the environment. Even if the amount is not appreciable, it is still considered a safety concern. Many departments which handle formalin regularly are using general spillage kits which allow them to clean up the mess, although this does nothing to actually neutralise the formaldehyde particles in the environment. Many other departments are using like urea-based granule solutions, which they apply to the spillage, and although these will neutralise the formaldehyde particles eventually, they do take a long time to do so. Dependent on the product used, it can take anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes to neutralise the spill, and during this time, formaldehyde particles will continue to contaminate the environment. So introducing the Novok range, Novok is the quickest and most effective method of neutralising formaldehyde and reducing the risk of exposure to staff. I'm now going to show a video clip which describes the Novok spillage solution before I go on to talk about the individual components of the range.
How often do your staff deal with the dangers of formalin spills? Spills, however small, put your staff at risk of harm, and current cleanup procedures simply can't remove formalin residue left on the spillage surface. That's where our Novok range, a complete formalin safety solution, can make all the difference to the safety of your staff. How? It's a simple two-step procedure using two active ingredients, a powder, Novok POW, and a solution, Novok S. Novok POW is poured onto the spill and solidifies the formalin. Novok S is sprayed onto this and instantly neutralizes the formaldehyde particles, ensuring your staff can breathe easy. Order your Novok system today and put the safety of your staff first.
Okay, so I'm now going to run through the individual key components which make up the Novok range. Novok is a patented solution that can quickly decompose formaldehyde molecules on contact without leaving any residual behind. So currently on the screen here we have what we call the Novok Daily Decontamination Spray, and this is commonly used to clean surfaces that are regularly exposed to formaldehyde particles such as aspiration hoods, workbenches and fume cabinets. Ordinary cleaning products and procedures cannot guarantee a proper decontamination of these surfaces, so the untreated residual formalin will keep releasing formaldehyde molecules into the work environment. On the contrary, Novok allows the healthcare staff to perform a deep decontamination inside their workplace whenever necessary. It is also a good idea to add Novok to daily cleaning procedures in order to have a healthier work environment and minimum exposure to the hazardous substance. So now moving on to the spillage solution, which comprises two key elements. Firstly, Novok POW, which is a highly absorbent polymeric powder, which when applied to a liquid mass, will rapidly inflate and solidify the mass and therefore contain the spillage, making it easier to clean up. Novok S is a highly concentrated version of the Novok Daily Decontamination Spray from the previous slide, and this has a high oxidizing effect on formaldehyde molecules. When Novok POW and Novok S are used in conjunction, they will immediately block formaldehyde vapors from entering the environment. On the current slide, we highlight the Novok set, which is essentially a combination of Novok POW and Novok S. And this can be used to deal with small spills up to 60 millilitres, but when only a very basic level of protective equipment is required. So with formalin spillages greater than 60 millilitres, it's recommended to have like a full spill kit with personal protective equipment to protect staff during the cleanup procedure. So we can also supply the Novok kit, which contains enough Novok POW and Novok S to manage a spill up to 2.5 litres, and also the Novok kit X to manage larger spills up to 6 litres. Anything over 6 litres would really be a job for the emergency services. So both sizes of the Novok kit come in a clearly marked red case, which is always very easy to find in the department. So as shown on the current slide, the Novok kits contain the Novok POW and Novok S for treating the spillage. Also included in the kit are gloves, goggles, scoop and scraper, face mask with filters, absorbent pad, disposable gown, biohazard waste bag, shoe covers, caution sign and instructions. So I'm now going to play a video which shows the Novok kit in use for a larger spill of formalin. This video doesn't actually have any sound on it, so I will talk through it. So yeah, this is the Novok kit here. All the contents that I mentioned on the previous slide, everything that's going to allow you to safely deal with that large formalin spill. So here we go. We've simulated a larger spill of formalin, and the user here has all the PPE equipment necessary, including the mask, the goggles, etc. So we start by applying the Novok POW to the spillage mass, and you'll notice she's starting from the outside of the spill to contain it before working our way in to cover the complete mass of the spill. Afterwards, we come along with the Novok S spray, and what this does, once it's applied to the top of the Novok POW, it will immediately block the formaldehyde vapors. So once that has been completely covered, you can then begin the cleanup procedure. So here we're shoveling away the mass with the scoop and scraper, and it's all disposed of in the biohazard waste. So yeah, we're just a little bit of time to get that completely away. And once you're done there, everything is disposed of in biohazard waste, including the scoop and scraper, the absorbent pad to clean up any residual that's been left behind. And again, all disposed of in the biohazard waste. And here we go, the goggles and eventually the mask, the gloves, etc. Okay, so what are the key advantages of the Novok system? Firstly, it's the fast-acting effect of the spill solution. In less than 1 minute, the Novok POW will contain the liquid mass and convert it into a semi-solid mass. and in roughly 30 to 40 seconds, once the Novok S has been sprayed on top of the Novok POW, the formaldehyde vapour emissions are blocked from entering the environment. So next is the total protection against formaldehyde. Using Novok S in combination with the Novok POW reduces more than 95% of the airborne formaldehyde compared to the initial value detected on the contaminated spot. After using the Novok S and the Novok POW to deal with the formalin spill, the concentration of airborne formaldehyde will return to safe health levels and remain below the occupational exposure level. In the handout section, you can download the efficacy study of Novok, which proves the effectiveness of Novok POW and Novok S working together. So the next key advantage is that Novok is a comprehensive product range which will allow facilities to deal with all types of formaldehyde decontamination. So the Novok daily decontamination spray is used for just that, daily decontamination of work surfaces. Novok POW and Novok S can be used for minor spillages, and we also have the Novok kit emergency response kits for larger spills all the way up to 6 litres. On the current slide, we compare the speed of Novok to other formalin-specific cleaning products. In less than 1 minute, the combination of Novok POW and Novok S brings the emission values back down to the environmental background with a reduction of more than 95% compared to the initial value detected on the spot. With other products on the market, they take much longer time to neutralise formaldehyde, and in the meantime, they don't guarantee that the vapour emissions will be blocked. So as a reminder, we're going to be going on very shortly to our live Q&A session, so please do continue to submit any questions. We'll do our best to answer them all at the end. So just really to finish up for this part of the presentation, I'm now going to play another video which demonstrates the speed at which Novok POW and Novok S working together can neutralise the formaldehyde vapours. So again, this video has no sound, so I will do a little bit of a talk through it. What we're going to do here is just simulate a very small formalin spill in a contained environment, and we're going to use a formaldehyde detector just to make a detection and then to prove how quickly it goes down afterwards. So yeah, only 5 millilitres of formalin, very small spill, just for demonstration purposes. And we're just going to make a very quick detection of the parts per million of formaldehyde inside this contained environment using the cube. So as you can see, it's already creeping up. We're at 0.35 and it's slowly going up the way. We're just going to fast forward a little bit, 90 seconds, just to show you how quickly the formaldehyde does contaminate the environment. So we're already above 1 part per million. And it's steadily increasing still. So at this point, we're just going to remove the cube, and we're going to use the Novok POW and Novok S solution just to demonstrate exactly how effective it is. And there we go. We're just going to make another detection, and already it's went down to 0. So again, just showing you really how quickly the Novok POW and the Novok S working together block the formaldehyde vapours from entering the environment. So I'm just going to cut this video short. It does go on for a little bit longer, but I think we've got the point there. Okay, so that's really it from that part of the presentation. So thanks to all of you who have spared your time so far. We are very shortly going to go into the Q&A. But before we do that, I'd just like to highlight a special offer we are running in relation to this webinar. We will offer a 20% discount on any eventual purchases of Novok if you quote this webinar, if you inquire with us before the 31st of May. You can contact me directly. All my details are on screen here. You can do that by phoning our main office, or you can inquire online at www.pentlandmedical.co.uk. These details will all appear on the following slide. So now I'm just going to hand back over to Jill as she's going to manage the questions that have been coming in throughout. So thanks very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Jamie. And as Jamie mentioned, we are now going to begin answering the questions that have been submitted so far. But as a reminder, you can still submit your questions through the questions pane in your attendee control panel. So our first question is, why is it necessary to dispose of semi-solid mass in this special waste and not in the normal waste after treating the spill with the Novok and Novok S?
Okay, thanks for the question, Julie. Yes, Novok Power, Novok S's purpose is to basically contain the formalin spill as rapidly as possible and creating a chemically stable barrier that prevents the toxic vapors from spreading into the environment where the accident occurred. Of course, under this barrier, there will still be some formalin residue. And that is why you want eventually to just dispose of everything in the special waste. That is basically the answer, because the product was not created to transform a special waste into a normal waste. That is my answer. I hope it helped.
Thank you very much.
I'd just like to add to that as well. Yeah, I mean, unlike other formalin spill solutions that are on the market, for example, the granules, the urea-based granules that we talked about there, the reason they take a bit more time than Novok is they're neutralizing the whole mass of the spill, and that is why it can be disposed of in your normal waste. With Novok, we're really just blocking it, and that allows it to be a much quicker acting effect. And obviously you will be wearing any PPE anyway, which will protect you during the cleanup process. So it's just all about blocking it, which will make it much quicker and safer cleanup procedure.
Thank you very much. And moving on to our next question, do Novok solutions generate harmful compounds?
No, they do not generate harmful compounds. Once the product is in contact with formalin, it might generate a very small amount of formic acid, which will anyway be oxidized immediately into harmless compounds. So operators can have a peace of mind on that.
Thank you. And moving on to our next question here, can I use the Novok daily decontamination spray for very small drops of formalin?
Okay, technically yes, you can, but we always suggest to use Novok set, so Novok Pow and Novok S, if you can actually see with your eyes the spilled liquid, even if it's just some drops, just to be sure. Novok, the standard Novok, which is less concentrated, is mostly indicated for general cleaning procedures, so to clean surfaces, etc. While, for example, when you know that you have been using formalin on a table or on a surface, but there are no visible residues, you can definitely use standard Novok. So general cleaning, I would suggest it for aspiration hoods, for example. After the working day, when you switch them off, you can just clean them inside with the Novok in order to prevent vapors from spreading into the environment. even when it is switched off. Then, for example, another suggestion that we always give is to use it on specimen containers after the specimen has been collected. So you want to dispose you want to dispose of the container. It will remain open with some traces of formalin. You can just spray the Novok on it or inside it. And also to clean working tables, as I was mentioning, and clean trolleys with which containers or any contaminated item is transported from one department to another one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next question is, are Novok and Novok S corrosive? And a second part to the question is, on which kind of surfaces can we use Novok and Novok S?
Okay, yes, Novok and Novok S are slightly corrosive due to their oxidizing power. Novok, though, is less concentrated than Novok S. So it is less corrosive. This is why it is ideal, as I was mentioning, for daily use. The fact is that Novok S won't damage surfaces anyway, because it is always used in combination with the powder, so you will not spray it directly on the surface involved. Anyway, we always recommend to rinse surface with water after using Novok and Novok S. So by doing so, you can definitely reduce corrosiveness to its minimum. The perfect surfaces and materials on which you can use Novok S and Novok also are stainless steel surfaces, and I would say generally other non-penetrable surfaces. Due to the fact that, of course, if this surface is penetrable, it could absorb formaldehyde, which will make it more difficult for any kind of decontamination system, not only Novok, to treat it completely and properly. Over to you, Julie.
Thank you. Our next question here, the face fit testing requirements for the face mask, are they provided in the kit?
We generally give for the mask medium size that we tested on a number of people. It should fit everyone, so they should not have any problem with the size of the mask. Jamie?
I guess. With the face fitting, I mean, everywhere has their own sort of policies and procedures on this. At the end of the day, we're not specialists in face masks. The one that we provide, as Alicia said, it will fit the majority of people. But yeah, it would be up to yourself to get it face fitted if that's necessary. What I would say as well, I mean, a number of places I've been to in the UK already have their own face masks, and they have policies on using, like for example, a full face mask, whereas the one that we supply is just a half face mask. So what I would say is that if you have your own policies in place regarding face masks, we can supply the Novo kit without the face mask if necessary. So it's customizable, but you know, for convenience, the one that we're supplying is a medium-sized Draeger Explore mask, and you know that will fit the majority of people. Certainly from my experience in the UK thus far.
Thank you very much. A question here, what is the time to reduce the vapour compared to pink cell path formalin granules?
We tried other methods, and definitely our product reduces formaldehyde emissions within 10 seconds, compared to other methods which will take let's say from 20 to 30 minutes to take effect. the thing is that in that time, during that time, you are already contaminating the environment where the spill occurred. So what we did not want was this effect, to have a contamination of the environment while you're cleaning. I hope this answered the questions, but Jamie, if you'd like to add anything else.
Yeah. I mean, the specific product you mentioned there, the pink cell path. I mean, it's not one specifically that I'm familiar with, but if it's formalin granules, the quickest I've ever seen any claim on any brand of these granules is about 10 minutes. And as Litres says, during that time, the environment has been contaminated, whereas Novok is an immediate block of the vapors entering the environment. So yeah, I can't comment specifically on that brand or type of formalin safety product, but all I can say is Novok will be much quicker at blocking it because it works in a different way.
Yes, the one we tested took about 25 minutes, so it was a little longer than our product.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Our next question is, what is the life span after opening the powder and the spray?
It is 24 months. All of our products have that life. So after that period, you should dispose of them.
Yeah, I guess to add to that, a comment I often hear when I'm out in the UK is, well, the current product we're using, the granules, doesn't have an expiry date on it, which is not the case. I mean, they all have to have an expiry date on them, and I believe the typical shelf life of the granules is about 5 years, so it is longer than Novok, but everything does have to have a shelf life. But yeah, I mean, the individual components that come with the Novok kit, some of them have a shelf life as well, although they are typically about 5 years, for example, for the filters on the mask. But yeah, as Alicia says, 24 months for the Novok products.
Thank you, Jamie. And moving to our final question for today that we have in, can you use one product or should both be used at all times?
Okay, let's see if I understood well the question. You are referring to Novok POW and Novok S. In that case, yeah. Yeah, please, Jamie.
Yeah, that would be my understanding of it, Alicia.
Yeah, me too. So I guess if it's that, yes, you should use it in combination. You should use both the product in combination. We tested other solutions at different pH, other powders, but the best and the perfect solution against formaldehyde emission turned out to be this one. So Novok POW and Novok S. Absolutely, you need to use them in combination to reach that abatement percentage of 96.7%.
And again, I would just add, in the handout section, we are available for download is the Efficacy Study, which does show the abatement percentage when using Novok POW and Novok S. So yeah, it really is about using the combination of both products.
Thank you very much. So that is all the questions that we have in today from your audience, Jamie. If I could just hand back to you for any closing remarks before we end today's call.
Yeah, but thanks very much, Gillian. Yeah, again, thanks to everybody who's attended today. We will be in touch with everybody that's registered, but do get in touch with me if you have any further questions following on from this. As I say, we're getting a lot of a lot of good feedback on the Novok system. I'd be happy to discuss further with you if you want to get in touch with me privately. But yeah, again, just thanks everybody for your time. We really appreciate it, and yeah, we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much. Once you leave today's webinar, you will receive a survey on the presentation. It's just a couple of really quick questions, so we would appreciate it if you could keep your browser window open and complete that and provide your feedback for us. You will also receive a follow-up email within 24 to 48 hours, which will include a link to view a recording of today's webinar. On behalf of Pentland Medical and our presenters, thank you so much for joining us, and please do enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.